Hi folks, Doug here. Ellis Car Customs, where we're all about making a mess and not even anything about cleaning it up. Welcome back to my shop, all my good friends. Welcome aboard if you're new and you found me by accident. Hopefully you'll keep finding me. I'm not going anywhere, so you should find me in the same spot you found me last time. So, on the last episode, we did a little more work on our door. Like I said in the last one, that yeah, if you're paying for time for somebody to do the work for you, it would make no sense to fix these doors, because you'd end up paying so much more in labor that you'd just be better off to pay the $1,000 a piece for the door shells and just buy them. But if you're doing the work yourself and you're not on anybody's time clock, then it makes sense to fix the old doors. Plus, you know, it's kind of cool to bring something back from the dead, so to speak, you know. I mean, if this work didn't get done, this just would have been a pile of junk, you know. It never would have been of any use to anybody ever again. But this way it'll wind up on a car and hopefully have many more years of use ahead. So yeah, so you have to weigh that. If you're doing this kind of stuff, you have to weigh, is it worth the extra time? Am I going to spend more money on materials than if I had to just buy the part? That kind of thing. I figure with welding gas, metal, primer, filler, you know, all in maybe a couple $100 to fix the doors versus $2,000 plus tax plus shipping. You know, you're probably looking at, you know, $2,500. So we can take that $2,000 plus dollars we save and roll it towards something else we need, which for that project over there, I've had a couple people say, you know, why not just get the full floor pan, because wouldn't that be cheaper? And it's actually not. It's $400 cheaper to buy the side pans than to buy the full pan. And I know the side pans don't come with the braces attached, but I have the braces already, so they came with the four-door. And we cleaned them up in an earlier episode. So the fact that I already have the floor braces, the side pans will save me $400, and I can use that money to buy something else. It's all about paying it forward, so to speak. So I'm going to try to get some work done. I appreciate you hanging out with me. I'm not sure what I'm going to do or how I'm going to film it, but we'll figure it out together. Thanks for coming.
Never again were the words that you said. Never again would you be so misled. You believed everything that I promised you back then. And now you will never again. again will I feel love in my heart. Never again, for as long as we're apart. All my days are full of rain, and every night so full of pain. And I know they won't be coming to end. Never again. Never again. Never again. Never again.
So we're circling the drain on wiring, getting closer. I really hate wiring. I didn't have there's supposed to be like spark plug protectors, hold them away from the exhaust manifolds. I didn't have them. I used zip ties to tie them back wherever I could so that they wouldn't come in contact or be too close to the exhaust manifolds. So that'll do for now until I either fabricate my own or buy some. I'm sure they make them. But we're making progress decoding this. Some of the wires are a little confusing. Like, I don't know why I need two alternator exciter wires. I got to figure that out. But I mean, the other wires over here are pretty simple as far as starter power and battery power. You know, the main wire going down to the starter. You know, that kind of stuff is pretty self-explanatory. But with the aftermarket wiring harness, they're all labeled what they're supposed to be. But here again, like I said, I don't know why I have two separate exciter wires. So I'll have to figure that out. They give you a tack wire or whatever. I imagine I may put a tack in here. I mean, I wired it up anyways, whether I have a tack or not. At least it's wired. So we're gonna do something else for a little while. So I decided I'd move on to putting gear oil in my diff, and I've thrown everything but the kitchen sink at that plug, and it will not let go. I haven't tried heat yet, but yeah, I tried various vice grips, got real good grip on the thing there, and just kept vibrating it with a hammer, you know, hoping the vibration and the grip there would eventually break it loose, but that's not the case yet. We'll have to try some heat on it, but we got to get it off of there. We got to get diff fluid in there. So stay tuned for that, I guess. Well, a little heat and determination got that plug out of there, and we got her filled up with our gear oil, and put some gunk around the plug so it wouldn't leak. Got it back in there. So another project done. Another thing we did in our crowded, messy garage is we put feet back on our car. I can't put it down yet though, because I still got some wiring to do underneath. Plus I gotta run a fuel line front to back. I gotta pick up a fuel line for that. I gotta run the fuel line in the back there where it fills the hose down into the tank, so I got that to do. So I can't put it down on the ground just yet because there's still a little more stuff to do underneath. So we've come to the end of another 15 to 20 minute excursion into paradise that's called my garage. It's paradise to me. This is where I escape the real world. Once again, I can never say it enough that we only talk about cars here. We don't talk about world events and politics and religion and all the things that people like to argue about. We leave that outside, and this is strictly a car channel. There's so many opinion channels, political channels, things that if that's your cup of tea, those are the places to go. But as far as us, we just have a little fun here, and we don't worry about what's going on in the world. This is our refuge. So we got a little wiring done today. Like I said, I hope it's not as boring as it felt. I mean, I screwed around for like 7 hours to make this 15-20 minute video, and sometimes I wonder when I'm filming it, is it going to be boring? Are you going to want to watch it? I'll put it out there. The views will tell me, I guess, if it's something you're into or something you're not into. But I took a look at the inside wiring, and I gotta sort that out. Like I said, I got most of the underhood stuff kind of sorted out. I just gotta figure out why there's like 2 wires when there should be 1, and things like that, because being a universal kit, it is not specifically made for a 57, but I looked into the price of like a 57 wiring harness, and oh my god, they're expensive. So for the money you save on the universal one, I guess it's worth the headache of figuring it out. Like I said, I got the headlights, the parking lights, the tail lights, all that stuff is already run, and 90% of the under hood stuff is run. It's just the under dash stuff I got to figure out, like on the steering column. You know how they have the ribbon connectors. Well, the kit doesn't come with a ribbon connector that matches a 57 ribbon connector. So I have to sort out which ones are signal lights, which ones are the horn, which ones are, just basically everything coming from the steering column down, I got to figure out. But we'll get there. Once again, thanks for stopping. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the folks who comment on every video, and they feel like they got a vested interest in this, just like I do. And for all the new folks, hopefully you'll hang around as we figure these things out. Till then, take care. See you on the next one, I hope.